All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to Virtuous Con. First of all, thank you so much for joining. I'm really excited. This is the coolest thing that I think has ever existed. So I'm really excited to talk with you guys and to do this chat. So thank you for coming to You've Got This, okay, to this panel that includes me, Christene, as your host. And we are super excited to see everybody. And I was like making sure I get on my P's and Q's before we start. But today is an amazing, amazing conversation between me and the illustrious, the sensational LeeshCapeesh. She's going to be coming in. This is the hand gesture, and then she's going to be popping in. While she pops in, there she goes. There you go.
Hi.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm meeting you for the first time. No, that's a lie. I know Leesh. I've known her for how long has it been? Like
a year.
At least a year. Yeah, at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks again to the people that are joining in the chat. We will have a Q&A towards the end. So definitely put your questions in the chat. And so that way we can answer everybody's questions or get to as many questions as we can towards the end of this conversation. But Leesh, at first, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are and what you do.
So my name is LeeshCapeesh. I am a gaming content creator. I mainly stream on Twitch. But a lot of people, I guess, know me from like TikTok. I, kind of went, I guess, semi-viral on there once or twice. So that's how I got.
She went viral a few times, not somewhat. Okay.
Somewhat, once or twice. And so, listen, let me. Oh Lord, but no. I do content creation full time. I went full time. I want to say around 2021, and I've been a full time content creator ever since. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful. First of all, I love your hair today. Okay.
Thank you. It's a wig. Her name is it's Sensei. Can I don't think I could plug. I was about to give you all the unit number and everything. Listen. I don't think I could plug.
If they ask that as a question later, then I think that's a fine answer. But you can text me it though, because
definitely, I got you.
I would like a nice curly wig. I've got these like long. Okay, Kat G said that they'll ask later, so definitely be ready and have that information ready. I'm putting my phone on never lock, so that way I'll have my questions right up here that I have prepared for today. But diving in, because it's nice to see you again. It's not like we talk every week.
We do talk every week, literally. Literally.
We do talk every week. But for those tuning in, this panel was something that I had come up with like a while ago, months in advance, months ago, in regards to like having the conversation of being two Black women in this space. We are content creators, we are streamers, we are gamers. We're also multifaceted women, and I feel like the conversation we have can apply to everybody in regards to being a content creator and being in the space or being on the internet in general. But I do feel like there are particular perspectives that we do have as Black women. That's who we are, So I definitely want to have these conversations. And the goal of this is to have a chat to kind of encourage those that are watching or that are participating or a part of the panel here, as encouragement, no matter, wherever you are, what intersections you sit at. I hope that at the end of this, you feel encouraged and maybe a little bit more prepared for your journey as a content creator. So let's get started. So you said you kind of started a little forward. I did send you the questions in advance, okay? And a few of these questions I already know the answer to, but we do want to have the conversation for those who don't know, okay?
Okay.
Oh yes, and they're letting you know that closed captions are available for anybody watching. So if you need them, you could turn that on at the bottom of the panel. So starting off, okay, the how did you start? You did let us know that in 2021 you went full time, right? Mm-hmm. But how did you start as a content creator?
I hate telling this story because it deals with somebody who I'm no longer connected with. But he's a part of my story, so I guess I gotta say it. So I used to be married, divorced. I'm divorced. But I used to be married. And how I got into content creation was basically my ex-husband wanted to start a YouTube channel. And in the process of researching the YouTube channel, like I've always been a gamer. I've been gaming since I was 5 years old. So he was basically like, there's people who play video games and like, stream it and record it or whatever. And I was like, you're lying. So I went and I did a little bit of research and I found out that he actually wasn't lying this time. So
Not this time.
a little shame, but he earned it. So yeah, I started off watching like a lot of content creators on YouTube specifically. And I was like, okay, I see all these white men, right? Where are the black people at?
Where they at?
Where are the black people at, right? So I did a little research. I found Christene. Christene was one of the first black women gamers that I encountered. And I always say this is a full circle moment because I literally, like, I was watching Christene like before she had the baby and all that. Like,
it's the timeline for me. It's the timeline
for a minute. So I'm like, I feel like I'm, always been a part of the family. In my own little way. So I was watching like a whole bunch, Corey Kenshin, Poise, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, I know Christene can't be the only black woman out there, right? So I did a little research and a little bit more research, and I found Black Girl Gamers, which I feel like essentially kind of helped me kind of segue into the industry a little bit better, because I always said that I never want to be like the only anything in a room. I never want to be the black person in the room. I never want to be the only woman in the room. Like, I never want to be, because I am bisexual, so I never want to be the only, LGBTQIA plus person in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I really make sure I research my communities before I even press start streaming, start recording, start anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because community to me is a little bit more important, and it helps you a lot more than just deciding, okay, one day I'm just gonna go live, and then that's it. And then people wonder why they get burnt out, because you have to, like, what we do is essentially community building.
It's a big part of it for sure.
It is. So from there, I started posting on YouTube. And then I remember being in the Black Girl Gamers group, and then I found Twitch. And I was getting a little burnt out on YouTube because, like I said, like I would just, record a lot and then edit the same day and then post. I was posting like 7 videos a week, like every day. Like it was too much. Okay. So I was like,
I won't say mine. I won't say mine. I won't say mine.
I could imagine, Christene, you and all your ideas. I could imagine. But I was like, I want a little bit more interaction. So I found Twitch, and then I was like, okay, this seems cool. And I think I didn't press start streaming for like 6 months. I was just watching other people. That's where I found X Mirror Mirror. That's where I found Story Mode Bay. Like, that's where I found Cup of Noodle. And I would just watch them. Like,
to them.
I would just watch, and I'm like, wow, like this is all the stuff that you can do. And it was exactly what I was looking for. Like, I remember Mira doing like whole community nights and stuff like that, where I remember she had like a competition with the Sims. And then like it was a lot. So I researched for 6 months before I went live on Twitch, because I was like, I need to know the ins and the outs, the ups and the downs, what to do, what not to do on this platform, because I'm not about to come into somebody else's space and start acting a mess. All right. I'll have a little bit of decorum. A little bit. So yeah, after that, I went live. I think I got affiliate within the first month, because I just
Fire.
in there, because I was talking to people, I was chatting, I was building relationships, and not even on no like, oh, just trying to come up. Like, I was genuinely like curious and interested in what everybody had going on. I got affiliate in a month, and from there, like, I built like a solid community. And then after that, like a couple of years, because I started in 2018. That's when I started making content. And then the end of 2020 is when I posted my first TikTok. and that's what led me to become full-time now.
The
So
TikTok queen.
yeah, I'm
Kaka.
not. You know,
Listen, you
TikTok
don't
is
have to
tripping.
give yourself the flowers. I'll just give them for you. Okay. You guys see her name, follow her on TikTok. All right.
Oh
And you will
no.
see. All right. You'll be like, when she's like, I do a little something, something on there. And you go, I was like, a little.
Not
When
no
I
more.
looked,
Not
I
no more.
was like,
TikTok is that's another
it,
panel that we can have.
that's a whole, yeah, that's a whole other panel. Okay. But shout out to TikTok though, you know? But, kind of going into some of the things that you said that I feel like are important points, right? Because one of the things that you kind of expressed your specific journey, and that's one thing I want everybody to understand, that no two journeys are exactly the same, right? The path at which you come into this business is not going to be exactly the same as somebody else, and that's okay. You know, I think the fact that you did 6 months of research but pulled the trigger and actually got into it, I think is great. When me and my husband started our channel, the gaming channel, we had done a lot of research. Not 6 months, you were very studious. We were like, we're kind of like the study as you go type of people. So we like did some research, started, and as we were in this, we're learning, because especially, when I started gaming on YouTube, or like as content creation, wasn't how YouTube really like popped off. It was like cat videos, vlogging, right? Beauty and stuff like that. So even when we started, it's not like we had a lot of things that we could really research. And even like a lot of channels that would teach you like, hey, how to be a YouTuber, have a channel, none of it was applicable to gaming, because gaming is its own specific, niche. And so it was kind of like a stumble as you go type of thing for us, and learn along the way and provide what guidance we could, as we were learning.
That's
But
why I said I came in at the right time though, because y'all already worked for me. Thank you.
right. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
But you know what's funny? Because even though, I started before you did, there are things that I learned, like even that I apply from watching you, from watching Cup. You had mentioned Cup of Noodle. From watching Mira, like, even though I had started, there's still things I feel like you can always learn, especially how to, make your content more dynamic, how to interact with your community in different ways. Especially, I do feel like there is a difference on Twitch versus YouTube when it comes to streaming, and the communities themselves and the engagement is different. So kind of seeing what I really like from the engagement on one, and kind of bringing it together, is one thing I love to do. And that's some of the things I've learned, I actually learned from watching you. So I guess it's full circle. So, throwing that circle back at you. Okay.
I see. Okay.
Because I learned some stuff from watching you as well. But I do want anybody that, if you are like, okay, this is something that I want to do, this is something that I want to have as a career, or be in the industry, or try out, yes, do some research so you at least know the ins and outs, but make sure you do start, make sure you do get in it. And you don't have to go, like you said, you were 7 days a week with content. Starting off, you could start once a week if you want to, maybe a couple days out the week if you want to. I know for me currently, Leash, cover your ears. Okay, I don't want you to hear this, because she's gonna fuss at me. I don't want to hear you complain. Okay, so just cover your ears. Okay.
After. I have some sort of, I told you, a little bit of decorum.
Right now so I have a React channel. We post 3 times a day on that on average. And then it's the head shaking for me. And then on the gaming channel, we stream 4 times a week. And then we have the podcast channel that we stream on once a week. So that, like, YouTube gets a lot of output from me and my husband. We have a lot of content that we put out there. You do not have to be at that level. Anybody, like, if you're watching this, you do not have to be at that level. That's where I grew to. Even starting off, we were like 7 days a week as well.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people, they see people who've already been doing it, and they feel like that's what they have to do. Don't burn yourself out. A lot of people get into streaming, and they either realize that they don't like it, don't want to do it, or it's just too much. Like, if you start slow, then you'll have a better outcome. Because like, I didn't leave the restaurant industry to work super, super hard. Now, is this hard work? Yes.
It is. It is.
I leave to hate my job, and I love gaming. I love content creation, but I know if it gets to be too much, I will quit. I'm a quitter. Okay. Okay. So I do what I can to make sure.
There's the encouragement, guys, right there.
Listen, if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. Like, do not stress yourself out. But I do enough to make sure that I am mentally able to, go throughout the day. And I am somewhat of a hard worker, and I have to get myself out of it. So right now I think I only post once a week on YouTube. And most of my stuff is streaming, and I stream like 5 days a week, 4 to 5. I give myself an off day every other day, every other week. But yeah, that's all I do. And then I'll post. See, I'm a streamliner, right? I don't post that much original content. All my content is repurposed, right? So if
it's smart.
It's smart. I streamline, work smart, not hard, right?
Yeah, hello.
So if I stream, if it's a game that I want to put on YouTube, I just cut it down, put it on YouTube. All of my clips on TikTok are from Twitch. Like, I don't really make that much original content. I recycle content to make it, like, it's easier, and it's gotten me a lot of places. So
right. And it's not that it's not original, it's just repurposed. You're finding many uses out of the stream, and that is extremely smart. And I do feel like some people, they can, because I mean, you can take the path of streaming on Twitch and creating content on YouTube, because some people do that, right? Some people stream on both platforms, which you can do, but also finding separately, not simultaneously. That's not allowed, wink wink. But from one side anyways, the red side's okay, but we're not getting into that. But doing the stream and then taking that content and repurposing it on YouTube and repurposing it for short form, right? Whether it's TikTok or IG Reels or YouTube Shorts now, which has recently gotten monetized. So out there, y'all, make your shorts. Make sure you get that monetization, boo. But yeah, like I think it's very smart. It's a very smart way. I think it's easier to find your pace and your path that way if you're doing your streams and then taking your days to create more content out of what you've already created. And if you're doing a stream, that's a lot of content that you can repurpose, because you stream for at least 3, 4, maybe 5 hours, right? You stream?
I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been streaming for like 5 or 6. Normally I try to do 3 or 4, but I just been having so much fun.
It's fine. It can be so much fun. And that's the thing.
Fun lately.
Take a path that works for you. And one of the things I say when I tell people to be consistent, what's consistent for you, right? Because you are the one that has to do this work. You're the one that has to record or stream, engage with your audience, build your community. So you have to be consistent, but what works for you? You don't have to do 5 days or 7 days out the week if that doesn't work for you, especially starting out, because like you did too, but we started when we had full-time jobs. Like, you doing the work, you come home, you go to your job where you work for somebody else, you come home and you're building for yourself. And then you wake up and rinse, wash, repeat. It's the same thing. So find out what works for you, Next question that I do want to ask. You did mention like how you started, how you did a lot of research, and we kind of talked about that. And we did talk about that more in depth in like a separate conversation, but about now, right? Because you've been doing this since 2018. So you're going to be 5 years this year. I'm going off of the mark of my baby because she was born in 2018. So I'm like, I will forever be able to track your career. I'm like, oh, how old is baby AY? Okay, she's going to be 5 this year. So this is going to be your 5th year. What inspires you now? You talked about finding content creators in this space and doing your research when you started and finding different like niches and all the intersections that you mentioned that you sit at, as a Black woman, as a queer woman, as a content creator, as a gamer, you sit at a lot of different intersections, right? So for now, 4 to 5 years in Leash, what inspires you now?
I think at this point I'm looking at the next level. I'm a person that loves to have a job. And even though this is a job because it's full time, I'm my own boss. I like a little bit more structure.
Okay.
And I think at this point I kind of want to pivot into other things like hosting, interviewing,
Yes.
things of that nature. I was on a like a show just this past winter. well, not the winter's still here, but you know, back in November, November.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a really enlightening experience for me. And it really opened my eyes as to what I want my next journey to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Was
I
it the
like,
tour? You're talking about the tour?
yeah, 5GRV.
Okay.
Yeah, I like streaming, but I don't know. Like, I just feel and maybe it might be a little bit of guilt because I've always been like in the service industry, the restaurant industry,
Mm.
and being able to do something that I actually love to do. I'm like riddled with guilt sometimes. Like this ain't right. Like this,
What?
I don't know. It's just a me thing. It's
Enjoy
something
yourself,
I
boo.
know I do. And I've gotten to the point where I start asking myself, why not me? Right. So
Mm.
that's
Mm.
how I cope with like, well, this seems too good to be true. But then but why not me? Why can't I have this moment? Why can't I be
Mm-hmm.
successful? Why can't I live my dream? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to talk to myself sometimes. But I do know that eventually I do want to work on like productions and, you know, things like that. I was a theater nerd in high school. So
Shout out to Theater Note. Okay.
so
Okay.
it's like a
Yes.
part of
Yes.
me always wants to, I knew a part of me always wanted to get back to performing. And honestly, I think the reason why I love streaming and content creation so much is because it satisfies the inner theater nerd. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
LeeshCapeesh, 16, 17-year-old LeeshCapeesh will look at me now and be like, wow, okay, I see what
Yeah.
you're doing. So yeah, what motivates me now is just knowing like where I want to go next.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, looking at because I have a daughter, and she's 13, so I was making babies early.
I didn't do the math. It was
Yeah, but I only have one. All right, I have a child. But just watching her watch me, she thinks I'm so cool, even though I'm not cool. I am cringe
that's
to her,
fire.
but she thinks I'm cool enough. And that in itself just, it makes my heart 10 sizes bigger. So,
Oh, that's so
yeah,
cute.
I definitely do it for my daughter. I do. That's my daughter's honestly my main motivation. Um, but yeah, it's also like I know that eventually I want to get to the next step because I admire people like Cup of Noodle and like Story Mobe and you, Christene. So I see kind of where I want to go. So that's what I see for myself in the future, I guess.
I love you. I love you. I can mirror that. I do feel um I wouldn't say that I had the guilt. I like imposter syndrome, heavy. Oh, heavy, heavy. Like anytime anything celebratory would happen or like ascending to a new level, so to speak, right? Like being on a billboard in Times Square, which was like a dream as a child, when
Mhm.
going to New York a few times, like when I was younger and going to Times Square, I was just like, wow, as a kid.
Mhm.
So I'm also a theater nerd as a child or in high school as well. I was a thespian, okay, which was super fire. Had the little hat, all right, and the card.
Oh
But
my.
I like did the acting. I was doing acting, doing like short films, doing independent films and things like that. And that was originally my path to get on a billboard. That was like that wasn't my goal, but that was like those are the people that are on there. So this is something I love to do. So I'm going to keep working at loving at this thing I love to do, and then hopefully I will also get to be on the billboard, right?
Mhm.
Um, but to take this path that I'm on right now and to be on a billboard. And when people congratulated, I was just like, I don't feel like I'm worth it. I didn't feel like worthy of this thing. I was like, I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand why me.
Yep.
But like that, I would feel like, oh, everybody looking, and then they'll find out that I'm a fraud. That's the insane feeling of imposter syndrome where
I
you
feel
feel
like
like,
we all, like as creatives in general, I feel like everybody goes through that. And it's so wild because like I'm the same way. Like you was like TikTok queen. Like, and I work hard on my TikTok, but in my
you
mind, I'm
do.
just like, oh, whatever. Like it's not like, but like
You
that's what
always
sets me
say
apart.
little. You always say little and
I
a
do.
little some. I'm like, girl.
But first of all, this is not my lifetime to brag. I think that was my past life, and that's why I'm paying for it now. Because whenever I brag, something goes wrong. So this is not my lifetime to be braggadocious.
Hilarious.
But it's just, I don't know, because at any moment I feel like it could be all taken away from me. So I try to cherish it and try not to let it get to my head. But that imposter syndrome, I think that's when the imposter syndrome sneaks in, because you're trying not to let it get to your head. But
Right.
sometimes you gotta let yourself know, like, you are,
The ish. You are the ish. The whole give yourself flowers thing. And I do try to be better at that. Like, when people say, because even with you, when you're like, oh, this is a full circle moment, and you're like, I watched you, and I'm like, let me hide behind my mic. Let me go down here. Okay. Can this hide my face? It's difficult to take on that. But I mirror that feeling. I completely understand. And this is our time. And I do feel like, because we work so hard, especially doing it in a few years, that expansion mindset, I'm definitely in that. As you could tell, I'm in that mindset, when it came to hosting the podcast and where I want that to go and where I want that to grow. The whole hosting thing, yes. Interviewing thing, yes. Even the realm of teaching and doing workshops and sharing the knowledge that I've accumulated with doing this with my husband for 8 years. We're 8 years as of this year, as of January 20th. So yeah, it's a long time, bro. It's a long time.
Yeah. What you gonna do for your child? You gonna have
I gotta do something big.
Yeah, Christene, like, you get a car, because you the Oprah. Gaming, so you have to, like, do a big Oprah moment.
That would be, yeah. I think when we get to 10, I definitely want to do, it's got to be some type of big event. It has to be some type of big event. Maybe I might do like a let's all meet up in like some type of, I don't know, city or country, I'm trying to get on my Jackie Aina, okay? Shout out to her, okay? Shout out to her.
I love her.
I love her. Like, she is hashtag inspiration.
Listen,
girl,
Rich so good on her. I'm like,
girl. Black luxury. I'm like, this is a new realm, girl. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try to be more fit. I want to do this. Okay, I want to do this. Shout out to Jackie. But yes, as a reminder, if you have any questions, definitely put them in the Q&A. We'll go and we can start diving into those questions, just in case, just because I want to make sure we get to as many of them as possible. Okay. I see an answer live button. I've never seen that before in a Zoom call. So I'm like, will it pop up on the screen if I put that? Let me know. The behind the scenes guy, let me know. All right. I don't want to put his government out there just in case he's not supposed to be known. So anyways, first question, it says from Anonymous. All right. It says, how do you ground yourself when the comparison thinking got you down?
Okay, let's just put this out here, y'all.
Okay.
Jealousy, a little bit of envy, comparison, that's a normal emotion. Like, I think a lot of people, I get a little jealous sometimes when I see something, I'm like, but at the end of the day, like, it's not jealousy coming from a place of like, like, why them? It's more right. So I can do, like, I could do better. I can do this. I can do this. Like, let me get there. So, like, I feel like a lot of the times when we talk about comparison and things like this, there's nothing wrong with comparing yourself to other people, but you just can't get like too obsessed with it.
Right. That's the thing.
Yeah, like, I think some people could get a little bit obsessive, but you also have to understand, like, I think Christene said earlier, like, not everybody's journey is your journey. Like, there's going to be some people who pop off in a year. There's going to be people who pop off in 20. Consistency is always the key. I've never met a person who failed from being consistent. And then you also have to realize what's your end game. It's like, I use this as an example. Musicians, like people who sing and stuff like that. A working musician is still a musician. Not everybody's going to be Beyonce. Not everybody's going to be Doja Cat. Not everybody's going to be, some people are background singers and they make good money being background singers. And that's what they love to do. As long as you are able to, do what you love and make a little bit of change from it, I feel like that's when.
Or a lot of change. Make your money. Let's dissociate that, because this mindset of like making money, doing the thing you love, means that, oh, you're clout chasing or you're just after money, or you need to pay bills. Okay. Just because you're doing something that you love, you can't write that and send that to the electric company and expect
It's
your
still
lights to
a
stay on.
job. It's still a
Hello?
job in its own
Mm-hmm.
merit. Like, not
Mm-hmm.
just like how we say not everybody's meant to be a podcaster. We need more electricians and stuff like that. But some people have the gift, of gab. Some people have the gift of, of bringing about good topics, not the same relationship questions every, but you
Yeah.
understand. And then we don't know what people had to endure to get to where they are. You be thinking that you want somebody's journey. You don't know what this person over here has going on in their life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, like people, like we look at people like Berleezy and Corey Kenshin and stuff. They were making content for years before they popped
Years.
off.
Years.
We're just seeing them at like,
The
they
launch. Like they've been building up, and then we're seeing them as they've left the ground.
exactly. Like, we're seeing
Mm-hmm.
them at their height. We didn't see like when they were uploading video after video after video, and like, even with Jazzy Guns, like listening to her talk about like how her and Dwayne did what they did. Like, they would go to work, come home, film, post, rinse it. Like, we don't
Edit.
know.
Yep.
It's just like, it takes, we don't see, I think because in like a lot of movies, we see the montage and then we see like the person winning.
After, yeah.
Yeah, but you have to understand, like, that montage that we see in like 2 minutes is over a course of time, y'all.
Of years. A lot of the time
Years.
it's years. It's years that you're seeing condensed down to like 30 seconds
Exactly.
for
So
a montage.
you have to get through the montage in order to get to where you want to be. So just that's how I would say ground yourself. Like, understand that your journey is your journey, and then try to define what it is that you want, because what another person has might not be what you want.
Right. Right.
Define your end goal, define your made it. And that's how I kind of ground myself. Like, yeah, like I love Christene, but I don't be want to do 50-11 projects. Like,
Let me tell you something about Leash. I'm gonna interject here, okay? I'd be like, oh, I have an idea, and this is what I get. Oh dear.
yep. I'll be like, here you go.
Here we go. Yeah. And it's not even like a thing out of discouragement, it's more so like, here she goes. She got another idea. Okay. And then waiting for the text of, so Leash, are you available at this?
And I rarely tell Christene no. I think the only time I told you no was this past weekend. That's only because I had something else to do. Like, she'll be like, Leash, can you play? I'm like, okay, I guess. I'll do it.
She normally says it with a little bit where she's like, okay, yeah, it's a little bit more pepped up than she's making it out to sound. Okay. I don't just drag her around everything. Okay. All right. So next question. This is from Jasmine LaFleur. All right. I love Twitch, but there's so much info out there now and it can be overwhelming. Where's the best place to start regarding research? That's a good question. Like, who would you suggest people check out or follow or use as a, I guess, case study, so to speak, as research on Twitch? You could speak better than that than I can.
I feel like with Twitch, you just have to watch other streamers. Like, that's how I did my research. I wasn't looking on YouTube, like, or researching how to be the best such and such, or how to stream. You just kind of watch. That's how I learned. I just kind of watch people and how they operated. Now I will say, like, in terms of like different assets and like little fun ways to do stuff to your stream, like the technical side, definitely go on YouTube. I know there's creators, like, I think his name is Nutty. There's somebody else. There's this dude with like this thick, I don't know if he's Scottish or Irish, but I forget his name, but I learned a lot from him too. I gotta look him up because I forget his name. But like, if you want like different like little technical stuff, that's go on YouTube and search for. Especially like learning how to use OBS, learning how to use bots and stuff like that. Definitely. But if you're looking to figure out like how to interact with your stream, how to ask questions, how to keep a conversation going, what to do when nobody's chatting, just watch other people who do it. Yeah. Because
I would say it's definitely a lot to learn on the job as well. Because there are things like even though I've been doing this for years, watching a few Twitch streamers and seeing how they engage, and there to like streaming engagement, there are a lot of things I learned by watching other streamers for sure.
I think what helped me and is that I worked in the restaurant industry for so long, so I could talk. Okay, I could just talk.
Conversation, yeah.
I've learned how to have conversations and how to small talk and how to get people talking. Sometimes I'd say a lot of ridiculous things, but that gets the people going. You know?
She means those ridiculous things she be saying, though.
Some
Okay,
of them. Some of them. Sometimes I just like to, be mischievous, and I'll just say something out the blue, and everybody's like, "What?" And it's like, so it depends on what you like to do. Even like if you don't want to, because I feel like I'm a high energy streamer. But you know, so while I watch cozy streamers, I don't like high energy streamers because I'll be like, "Oh, you doing the most," but look at me. But even with like cozy streamers, like they'll just be sitting there talking, asking questions. It's something that you learn. But for
you got to find out. I was kind of interjecting and find out who you are as well.
Yeah.
Well, I suggest checking out different types of streamers and seeing where you fit in, because I do agree. Like, it depends on the mood I'm in, on the streamer that I want to watch, or the streamer I want to be. I'll have times where, because I am high energy. I was gonna lie and say low energy, but that's a complete lie. Right? I'm a high energy streamer.
Can't lie while I'm here. Maybe
right. I know. I realize. Okay, but like, no, I am a high energy streamer, but sometimes I do want to be like cozy, and I'm just like, you know what? That's what I want to be. Tonight, I want to just have a cozy stream. I want to just chill, play a cozy game, and we just interact and have conversation and just chill. And then other times I want to get into mischief, and sometimes I want to just troll and have fun. So, I would say, like you said, watching other streamers is like the best thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And also, what was I about to say? Oh, and for the people who are scared about starting stream and nobody's talking, talk to yourself. Everybody says it. Talk to yourself. Talk your way through the game. And that's the easiest way to get people to talk to you, because they'll see you in there talking, and then they're like, okay, this person likes to talk, and then they'll start typing in chat. So that's the easiest way. And I think starting off on YouTube, that kind of helped me out, because on YouTube, you literally have to talk yourself through the game.
You do.
So that kind of helped me out on the Twitch side for when people didn't show up or whatever, or the first hour ain't nobody in there.
Or even the first couple of streams, it might not, when you start off, it's not like, the audience will pop up and just, they'll eventually, after you've been doing the content for like a few times. But I will say that that's a thing that a lot of people don't realize. Even if you don't see any, it says 0 viewers, do talk yourself through, because one of the things you don't realize is people will pop in, and me as a viewer, because I'm a content creator, but I'm also a viewer. If I go to a stream on Twitch or on YouTube and this person's not really talking at all, I leave and I just go to the next person, because I do want to engage. And if it doesn't seem like the person or the streamer is engaging or talking and they're just quiet, then I'm moving on to the next person. So likewise is the audience. So keep that in mind. Shantae has a question. Where'd you get that wig, ma'am?
Oh, so can I say actual company names? Because I don't want to
I know. Is that a because I don't know if I read that.
Sponsors. I don't be wanting to say one and then
right. Okay.
I can. Okay. So this is good. A Sensational Butterlace Unit 5 wig.
I like the name Butterlace. You better text me the link. Okay.
Butta, not with an E.
Listen, I'm a sucker for when we get Butta with an AH. I'm like, okay, I like it. Okay. Shantae has another question. How did you branch out in content or finding the sweet spot between the games that brings viewers and what you enjoy? And we're going to try to answer these quickly, because we have a couple more in here that we want to try to get to.
All right, repeat that question really quickly.
Okay. How did you branch out in content or finding the sweet spot between games that brings in viewers and what you enjoy?
Okay, this is a good question, because I one of my favorite YouTubers who also streams on Twitch, his name is John Wolf, and I always remember him saying that you kind of have to you when you get on Twitch, you really can't play what you want. Everybody's like, play what you want. I think at first you can, just to get a feel for it, but eventually what he said is that you have to find what you want and what the audience wants, and then go where that intersects, right? So I wanted to play a game where I could talk to people, and a lot of my community likes for me to play horror games, and a game that I could just talk through and not really have to pay attention is Dead by Daylight.
Mm.
And so that's where I built like a lot of my community. You kind of have to feel like what people want. Like, and you might be a niche streamer. Like there's people who only play retro games. There's people who only play horror games. There's people who only play sports games. Like you just kind of have to figure out what it is that you want, what it is that your audience wants, and just find that intersection. And you're not going to learn that until you actually like play a couple of games. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Something you kind of
Starting is the best way to get that experience, or to completely know, because every audience is not the same. Every audience is different. Somebody else might be playing this game and it works, and then you might try it and your audience doesn't really speak to it, you know? So I would say experimenting is a great way. Everything that Leash said, I think is perfect. I think that that's the exact thing that you should do. Just experiment, check it out, find out where that section is, and then even like understand if there are games that you want to that you play, because there's some games that I really enjoy and I want to play, and I might not have the higher viewership as I would if I had played a different game. But if you have that understanding, you're like, today this is the game I want to play, and you know that it's not going to bring in a lot of viewers, and you want to have that stream, go ahead and do that for yourself every now and again, you know. But do try to find that intersection for yourself. Kat asked about the wig, but we got them details.
Sensational butter lace. Yeah. In the chat. Sensational butter lace unit 5. There we go.
Anonymous attendee said, will I be able to access the panel later? I had to step out for the first part. I think that's for the lovely Virtuous Con team to let you know. So if you did pop back in, I'm sure they'll answer in the chat and you can find out that. So Walisha asks, what software do you use to edit your clips and repurposing content?
I used to use what's that? Adobe, but I was tired of paying. Well, I only used to pay $30 because I will always be like, I'm moving, and they would be like, no, well, you don't have to pay 50, you can pay 30. And then I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. But I got tired of paying the 30.
Not you hustle them down to the 30 and they'd be like, yeah, I'm tired of paying this, I'm out.
So what companies are, they are so trifling with that, because you'll be paying this amount for years, and you'd be like, you know what, I ain't gonna pay it. No, we'll just give it to you for $30. I'm like, you could have did this for me in the beginning. Now
that's true. That's true.
Anyway,
that's true.
But currently I use DaVinci Pro, which is free. And the cool thing about DaVinci is that if you're used to using another software, they probably have it so you could pick your layout. So since I've been using Adobe for so long, they have different layouts for like Adobe Vegas Pro and all of that. So I did Adobe Premiere Pro, and it looks exactly like how I had my setup on Adobe Premiere Pro. So if you want something,
that's great.
Definitely do DaVinci Pro.
For me, when I do, because I have outsourced a lot of my editing, because you know, I told you how much content I output, so that editing's not on that list normally. But when I do have to edit like a short or a TikTok or a clip, I use Final Cut, because that's what I started with, is like Final Cut Pro. It's my main. That's my boo-boo. All right, so Kat G asks, and this we might have time for one or two more questions, but Kat G asks, what specifically did you research when you started? What questions I guess you did talk about what you've researched, but what questions should we keep in mind if we want to get into content creation?
I think you just kind of have to be honest with yourself. Because a lot of us want to do things, but then when we do it and we're like, oof, this might not be for me. But at the end of the day, just be honest with yourself. If you start and you really feel like it's not for you, as a professional quitter, it is okay to quit. It is okay to be like, nah, or it's okay to pivot into something else. Like y'all heard me say earlier, like I tried YouTube. YouTube wasn't cutting it for me at the moment. I was like, I want more interaction. So I went on over to Twitch and I found what I was looking for. I guess another question to keep in mind is, what's your end goal? What is it that you want from this? Are you doing it for fun, or are you doing it as to eventually make it into a career? If you're doing it for fun, then you don't have to do all the bells and whistles. You can play what you want. You can do whatever you want, honestly. So yeah, that's true. You just have to, and I don't know. Yeah, just try to find what works for you. Like keep those questions in mind. Like why are you doing content creation? Why content creation in general? You know, you could be doing anything else. You could be playing an instrument. You could be drawing. What is it about streaming or watching other people stream that made you go, you know what, I think I could do
This
this.
is one of the, yeah.
So yeah,
Mm.
those are the questions I guess you can. I think my question for myself is, I can do this because it's a creative way for me to express myself,
Mm-hmm.
doing something that I've already loved doing. So it's not like it's going to be a burden. You know, I'm not shy on camera. I'm not a shy person in general. I'm creative. I love editing, even though now it's a chore, but I used to love editing.
Editing is such a chore, bruh.
It is a
Such a
chore
chore.
now. Oh
So is
God.
making titles for videos. That's one thing. I love the creation process, not the, hey, how do I make this title and thumbnail creative so it could be great in the SEO? I just
Right.
like,
For
I would just want
title,
to upload it and call it a day.
I remember I wrote a title and it was "What's That Smell?" and it had nothing to do. That was my title. What's that smell? It had nothing to do with the video, but
If
it
I
worked.
could just slap the keyboard and call it a day, I would do that. I would do that. That's what I would do. Great answers. I would we can move to the next one. Anonymous attendee says, "What would you like to see in terms of inclusivity on a production scale?" I really like this within the gaming industry as a whole. Ooh, I want to jump in for this one.
Oh,
Um,
you go
yeah,
first.
yeah. Well, what would I like to see in terms of inclusivity? More Black people and Black women and Black everything. I do feel like one of the things that is we're getting more and more of that, but not enough, and not just in the realm of in front of the camera or in front of the content, behind. I do feel like we're still in the situation where it's a lot of us that are more coming in on the content creation side, on the streamer side. But when it comes to cutting a brand deal, when it comes to opportunities from a company, when it comes to production in general, or like the team or crew that's lighting the camera or like or recording or filming, I do want more of us on both sides of this, because then I do feel like productions that include us would have a better output or a better experience for those involved and those viewing, if there's more of us also behind the camera and also behind the lighting or also behind the production side. So more of us, period, in that realm. And then I would say brand deal wise, I want to see more inclusivity when it comes to the amounts that people are getting, the deals that people are getting. And that inclusivity goes beyond race, gender, or anything. It goes in regards to be like respecting the work that someone's doing and paying them the fair amount that they deserve, no matter how long they've been doing this or who they are, what they are. That's another thing, because they penny pinched like a mug out here sometimes, bruh.
Is that streaming for companies, it's still very new, especially video game streaming. So a lot of companies don't know where they want to put their money or how they want to put money into stuff. And because we're still kind of like a new entertainment type of thing, they basically give us scraps, because it's like, well, you don't know your worth because nobody knows their worth. This is still new. If you're a
Mm-hmm.
big name, why should we pay you?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I'm very happy that streamers kind of stood on. I remember when I first started streaming, everybody was like, you shouldn't look to make money out of this. And
Oh, I hated that. That was during Apocalypse.
I
Like,
was
I
like,
don't do this for money. I do this. Do you say that to Beyonce? Do you say
exactly.
Beyonce should just go up there and sing and dance and do it for free? Hello?
Hello, like when I first came in, like, because I came in 2018 and everybody would, if you're doing this to make
That was
money,
during
you're in the
Apocalypse.
wrong
Yes,
profession. And I was like, y'all are foolish, because if I don't make
completely.
any money, I said I give myself 2 to 3 years. If I don't make any type of significant money doing this, then I'm just not doing it. Because
Mm-hmm.
yes, like I have fun doing it, but I want to be rewarded for my work. My best reward is some dollars. So I don't know, like that just threw me for a loop. Like, yeah, for the people who do it to have fun, good on them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, but I need a little bit. I need some coinage.
You need
Okay,
fun doesn't pay bills. That's it's like
exactly.
if despite, yeah, if you want to have a better life or you want to buy cars or you want to buy, having an elevated life is one thing, but fun doesn't pay bills. You can't
Mhm.
message, I live in Tampa, so Tampa Electric Company, to Tico. I can't write them and say, hey, I work for fun, and they be like, okay, well, you can keep your lights on. That's not how that works. You need money
Exactly.
to pay bills, so you got to work. You got to get
And
that
then
money.
I feel like it's a certain amount of entitlement for, and you don't owe content creators anything, but yet miss a video, miss a stream. You know what I'm saying? Like if I really like, if you really rock with your content creator, not saying that you have to give them your whole check, not saying you have to give them anything. Like, it's just the little things, like repost them, put them on a, like, talk
Sharing their
about
content. Yes.
their content and stuff like that if you really want to see them win. You know what I'm saying? But at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, it's like we give y'all what you want, so it ain't got to be monetary from y'all. I'm talking about the companies. That's
The
where I want
company should give some money. Yeah, the companies should give.
But when
Because if
it
you
comes
think
to
about it,
y'all,
one thing I
just
do want to
there.
put, because mind you, I was a bad pricer before. Before I would say in 2020 is when I actually learned my worth, and that's shout out to the girls at Noir Network, which was a collective of Black femme gamers, and they helped me learn my worth and be better at pricing myself. But one of the things that I do want you guys to think of, especially when it comes to pricing yourself, think about the fact that if they were to get this, or if this company were to do it, they would need to hire a production crew, they would need to hire an editing crew, they would need to hire a cast. You are all of those things in one, so think about that when you're pricing. I know that we are we have 10 minutes left. Okay, awesome. All right, so we do another question, because I was like, if we have 5 minutes left, I'll read the closing statements and stuff like that, but we'll do one more question. This one is by Kat G. Kat G was asking a lot. Okay, Kat G, up in
Right.
here. Thank you. Shout out to you, Kat G. Kat G asks, Christine mentioned she has 3 different channels. Do you feel that having different topics on one channel doesn't work? Okay, so I can say from experience, what happened was we started with a gaming channel, and then when we're doing gaming, Mortal Kombat X came out. The reactions I had to the finishers in that game were next level, and people were like, "Oh, you should react to the compilation of these, right?" And I was like, "What is this react thing?" It was brand new. It was new at the time. I did reacts to the compilations, and then it was like I would get suggestion out and suggestion for more content to react to. On the channel, I had reactions and gaming, but I realized from doing it that I had 2 different audiences. The gaming content would get a certain amount of average views, and the React content had an average of certain amount of views. That is why me and my husband did a separation, and we're like, Reacts can have their own place and gaming can have their own place. Sorry if you can hear a lawnmower, because somebody's mowing their lawn at this time. Like, they couldn't do it in the morning. It's hot now. We in Florida. But anyways, it was something that I had to do because I did the work, and I had 2 different audiences. If you're starting out, I wouldn't say that you need to start out and just go ahead and separate everything. Do it all in one, experiment, because some people have variety channels where they do a bunch of stuff and it all works and their audience watches everything they do. But if you're trying something and you notice that the audiences are vastly different in the content and you've been doing it for a while, then I would say go ahead and separate and do it. When it came to the podcast, it was something I started it with some friends. So I'm like, that will have its own place so we can track that growth. And that's something that has a different trajectory than what I'm planning to do for the React channel and the gaming channel. And that is why I had to separate.
I'm not a believer in separating. I'm like, I put it all in one, because that's, first of all, I hate social media, even though we're on social media, like I have to use it.
Make sure you follow her on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram.
Right. But I already feel like I have enough accounts. So I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram, I have a YouTube, I have a Twitch. I even have a Snapchat that I don't use.
There's so many things. There's so many things.
So I'm definitely a believer in just put it all on one. Your people who show up, they'll show up. The people who don't. But I understand Christene, because Christene knows how to manage all of that. If you do not know how to manage all of that, stick to what you know. Your people will come.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pace yourself, because it is a lot. It is a lot. And having the separation, building it out, I have teams that help me with things, well, I said teams like I got a lot of people. We have interns for the podcast.
Got teams.
And then, okay, you're right. I'm not going to downplay. So we have the interns for the podcast. Mm-hmm. And then me and my husband work together on the other 2 channels, the gaming and the React channel. And then I have someone that helps out with editing. So having some people at this place that I'm at and organizing, because we're mothers. We are wives or partners. We are mothers. We have people that depend on us and that we're a part of. We have love, and that love also is work. So it's, it is always working. Always working.
That's another podcast. Love is also work. It's a Black woman's experience.
We done made 2 other podcasts. Look at us. The inspiration just flows off. Siri, ain't nobody talking to you. Okay, Siri, you need to hush. All right. So yeah, and podcasting empire would be amazing. Okay, I see y'all with the ideas. All right, so I think we have time possibly for one last question. I'm gonna say possibly because it was like
Yeah,
10
I think
minutes.
we got 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, so okay, go for it. Yes, we got the green light. So we have this question from anonymous attendee, and they said, "How do you market yourself as a Black woman streamer? I know it can be hard to stand out in the gaming community when there's a group that is favored more than us. You know who that is, but I will say, just to kind of start this off, I will say that there was a moment in time where people were uncomfortable saying Black, right? People were uncomfortable saying, oh, I am a Black streamer, I am a Black woman streamer, I'm a Black, and then inserting what you are and everything. But after the sad events that happened in 2020, there was this moment where people were emboldened by that, right? And that is how they presented themselves. That's how they marketed themselves. And likewise, I felt emboldened. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I am. And then I've noticed lately it's starting to die back. And I'm like, no, I'm going to, because that is who I am. That is my identity. That is what I bring to the table. And it's not the only part of me. I'm very multifaceted, right? And I'm bent on global domination, right? So I have a lot of facets to me, but I keep that as something that I start with because there's a unique perspective that I share as a Black woman in this space that I think can be valuable for a lot of people, no matter who you are. So when it comes to standing out, I am somewhat like being genuine is a good way to stand out, I would say, because me being me, I am someone I'm an enigma because I'm socially awkward. She said she's not shy on camera. I was shy starting out at first. I was like terrified of like showing my face. I didn't even start with my face when I started my content. And so I can be shy, but at the same time, my dreams and my passions are grander than my fears, are grander than the things that I come up against, right?
Okay, now.
What?
Let's write that down. Hello. and my passions are grander than my fears. I'm gonna have to. That's another thing I gotta say to myself when I'm feeling down. Whoa, okay.
The accidental word there. Now, instantly, I felt bashful again. I was like, "Oh, okay, can't hide." But no, I'm gonna be better than that. But yeah, that's the thing that keeps pushing me through. And so I would say, being who you are and standing proudly in who you are is a great way to market yourself when it comes to interacting with people, reaching out. Push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Okay, reach out to people. DMs, are a thing. Don't get upset if people don't answer because ghosting happens to everyone. All right, no matter who you are, and make sure I would say, yeah, pushing yourself out, reaching out, and being emboldened by who you are is the way to market. Hopefully I answered your question properly.
Also, we're at a good time. A lot of companies, even though it's been really quiet this Black History Month from brands,
it was silent, bro. Like what?
Haven't been hitting us up. I don't know what's
they
going
was
on.
Like, y'all had y'all time.
Right. But it's funny because for Women History Month, that's when I get a good amount of my deals. But I will say this is a perfect time to market yourself as a Black woman and say that you are a Black woman, Black femme, Black person in general, because people are looking to fill, they're looking
the diversity cards.
Fill the diversity card. So it's just in your best interest to just throw that out there anyway. The only thing is pay. We all know like Black creators get paid like, what is it, like 30% less than our white counterparts. And that's something that you really have to like hit hard. There's a lot of no's. You're gonna say no more than other people say no. And I take pride in like, I'm not settling for less. There's like a lot of companies that will hit me up and be like, well, yeah, it's good exposure. You could get this much. And I'm just like, no, I'm good. All right. You came to me. I didn't come to you. You in my emails. So yeah, it's not easy to market yourself as a Black woman in the gaming space, but there is somewhat of a shift, and there's a lot of communities out there, and there's a lot of Black women gamers. Thank God for the internet, but still curse the internet because it's the internet.
It's a give and take for sure.
Right. But thankfully we have the internet, so you have like other people around you that can help you out if you need, a little bit more details on how, because it's a lot. It's like LinkedIn a lot. It's like pitch deck a lot. It's like media kit.
Media kit, yes, media kits. Stream decks. That was something that I learned about recently. If you're on the streaming side and you're trying to get deals versus a media kit, which would be in a more broader space. Yeah. I think that social media, it's lived by the sword, die by the sword.
The only reason why I was able to go full time was because of TikTok. If it wasn't for me posting my content on TikTok, I wouldn't have been able to go full time. So even though I hate social media is the reason why I have the platform that I have. So do not be shy about putting yourself on other platforms. Twitch is not known for its discoverability. YouTube is, but YouTube is the long game. You're not going to make money off of YouTube. You'll make money off of Twitch in the beginning. So definitely put yourself out there on other platforms. And one thing about TikTok is that they'll follow you on everything. Like they follow you around like lost puppies. Love my TikTok audience, but they do follow you
Come
around.
here, little puppies. I'll give you a little hug. Okay.
They follow you on everything, and they are ride or dies. So definitely put yourself out there.
Yes. Someone did Karma. Shout out to Karma. Hi, boo. I see you there. She asks, what's the difference between a stream deck and a media kit? I know for a stream deck is way more because a media kit is normally like one page, right? Or maybe a couple of pages, like 1, 2, 3. The stream deck I know is like a somewhat of a novel. It's like 4 or 5 pages that someone can have, like deep diving. It's kind of like a media kit, but it's more centric to streamers. So if you were a streamer, that's when you'd put in a lot of stream deck or get a stream deck together. If streaming is the main, branding that you want to do, like you want to do your branding via streaming. But if you're doing from a media kit, since I'm on the YouTube side, media kit would be more fitting if I'm, reaching out to brands that I want to do videos for, versus a stream deck would be essentially why you should market your product on my stream, or why I should be the one to sell your product.
Stream deck is essentially like, let's say if you want to put clips of your stream and stuff like that on there, that would be your stream deck to show them like how you incorporate ads onto your stream. Because I've never heard of a stream deck.
Yeah, it doesn't have clips, but it's kind of like it's a document that you would set up. So it'd have like a lot of the stats about your streams, how many concurrent viewers that you have, what are the demographics and things like that you have from streaming. And I think stream decks are great when it comes to, if you're reaching out to companies and you're going to use your stream as your main way of marketing their product or their thing. Like if you're reaching out to a food company and you want to show why you are a great person to have that product marketed on your stream, a stream deck is a great thing to use.
It's like a pitch deck, but for streaming.
Yes. Yeah, okay, there you go. Cool. There you go. Right. We came together. Boom.
All right. Okay.
Yes, of course. I think, is it, because I don't want, so time to wrap. All right. Because I was like, I don't want to.
She's like, I'm trying to. One more person. Look at
right.
you.
I can answer more questions. I would love to. I want to say shout out again to LeeshCapeesh for joining me today. Make sure you check her out on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. You said not your Snapchat, but you have a Snapchat. You said that. Yes, no.
I just had to claim the name so nobody wouldn't do funny stuff.
That's true, because they will for sure. And then you can follow me, Christene, on YouTube. Like I said, I have 3 channels. Okay, the podcast, Party Chat Podcast, definitely check it out. We've been doing some great things over there, which I'm excited about. And then gaming and YouTube, or gaming and reacts as well for like anime, TV shows, animations, things like that. And then I'm also on Twitch. I am on TikTok, Instagram. I'm everywhere. Just look up the name. You're going to find me somewhere doing something. Thank you guys so much for joining today. Shout out to the people at VirtuousCon for letting us sit up here and have this conversation. It's amazing. I definitely want to come back next year. So hopefully y'all will let me come back next year. So thank you guys for having us, and toodles.
Bye.